Hey guys, so I didn't really vlog footage yesterday. I just was not in the mood to vlog or talk to the camera, so yeah, I didn't. But today is Friday and I feel a whole lot better, I guess. Not that I was like sad or down, I don't know, in that kind of mood. But today I feel more like myself, more happy, and it might have something to do with the weather right now. It is such a nice day. I film right in front of this window in my office. So I've been opening the window, has that nice cool spring breeze coming in, and so if you hear cars going by, that's that. But yeah, so it's letting in fresh air and I have my plants and I'm like rearranging my office a little bit, making it more homey and getting my like yoga stuff situated and how I want it. So I have like coffee back there now, and speaking of, I decided to have some tea. Okay, so it is the second week of the yoga teacher training, and last night we had philosophy of yoga, and part of that was going over the 8 limbs of yoga, which is the ethical side of your yoga practice. And we only got through the first 2 limbs, which are the yamas and the niyamas. And I had heard of them, but I hadn't really looked at them and studied them and knew the like tenets of yoga. But as we were going through it, I realized that over the last 7 or so years, I have been incorporating these aspects of a lifestyle into my lifestyle already. So it was kind of reaffirming that, oh, I hope you guys can hear that bird. But anyway, so it was kind of reaffirming.
Are you recording?
Uh-huh.
Oh. Hello.
Yes.
Oh, I just gonna let you know I'm done. I just closed out everything.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. But it's just cool because he's like, oh, nice. I was buying off that too.
Yeah.
So, and then I was able to put in, I just took off the rest of it and that was the top.
Anyways, so where was I? It was nice to actually put words to what I've already kind of came to my own realization that's better for me. And so I wanted to kind of go through the yamas and the niyamas with you and talk about it and how it relates to my life right now. And because some of this really connected with me, so I just kind of wanted to share. So the yamas are broken down into 5 categories, if you want to say, of individual aspects of it. So the first one is non-harming. Then you have truthfulness, non-stealing, chastity, and non-hoarding. And some of them are familiar because you have like the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not kill. So a lot of the aspects are relatable, I think, no matter what religion you ascribe to. Yoga and these yamas are very similar to just, I think, what everybody would agree upon is a good set of morals. Okay, so for non-harming, the first yama, it's of course to others, but also to yourself. Do not harm yourself. It's sort of like self-love. And I'm gonna go through these pretty quickly just to touch on them, and the ones that I really want to talk about, I'll go ahead and talk about. And we also talked about how this is also attributed to animals and why a lot of yogis are vegan or vegetarian. And then the second one is truthfulness, which I think a lot of people might have some difficulty with, because it's like, well, what if I'm trying to like protect the other person? Or what if, you know, I tell a white lie, or, you know, something like that. And how he explained it was that we have, you know, our karma. And even though we're lying to maybe protect someone's feelings or something like that, that a lie is just avoidance. it's better to tell the truth than have that lie circle around one day and catch up with you. So I thought that was a really good way to explain it. And then of course non-stealing, that one's kind of self-explanatory. And chastity. So this one got a chuckle out of the room because he was like, people can have a really big thing, big opinion, big problem with this yama. And so he kind of went through it that it's not abstinence. It's not that entirely. How he explained it was, you're not supposed to be controlled by your urges, whether that be your sexual desires or your urge for food. We're supposed to be at peace and thoughtful and mindful. And so if we're giving in to hedonism and our urges, that we're not being mindful and thoughtful. And one thing that I really gravitated towards, because ever since I was a little girl, I've always thought this way. Getting into personal hour. So I remained a virgin until I was 23. Shocker, I know. And it wasn't because of my Judeo-Christian upbringing. Like that's a part of it, but I always thought that I didn't want to give that part of me, because that is so personal, to just anyone. Like I had to find that person that I would want to give that part of me to. And how they described it in class last night was that sexual energy is yours, and you should be mindful of how you use that energy. And that's a perfect way to describe what I was thinking but didn't have words for. And growing up, like going through high school and college, and I have 3 older sisters, and they're all married and have kids, and I'm gonna spill some tea. Been sexually active for a long time now, and I was always the odd one out, and they always made fun of me, like, oh, you're just a prude, or like just older sister stuff. But also, like my friends and acquaintances, and of course guys, but I remained vigilant in my decision, because it is energy. It's mine to give. And I found somebody, and I'm very happy with my decision. Just do what is right for you. For me, that was waiting until I found that person that I wanted to give that part of me to. Shocker, I'm not married, but I still feel very content in my decision. All right, so the next yama is non-hoarding, and this one I particularly don't have a problem with at all. Over the last 3 or 4 years, I've been going through my closet, getting rid of, I had shoes and clothes and just a ton of stuff. So over the last 3 or 4 years, I've just been decluttering. I was like, I don't love it, get rid of it. And that's a big wave going on. There's tons of YouTube videos about that. And for some odd reason, I can't think of the name right now. Minimalization or something like that. Anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. So I only have pretty much what I need. My closet is like a fourth of what it used to be. I only have like 5 pairs of shoes now. I've cut down a lot on like my hair stuff. I've had the same straightener for 8 years. It hasn't broken, so I still have it. I think the only problem with hoarding for me is stuff that has very sentimental value to me, and in those cases, like letters. My love language is words of affirmation. So my letters from family and friends, those are very important to me, and I'm very attached to those. As a human being, we all have attachments, but I think the more you can do to lessen those attachments and understand why you have those attachments, you'll start to feel a lot more weightless and not so drugged down by this stuff. I do have some attachments, and I was actually talking to my boyfriend last night about this, and I was like, you know, the only attachments that I really have are Maverick, my dog, and my car. I love my car. And I know I probably shouldn't love my car, but I love my car and I don't want to sell it. I don't want to get rid of it. I love it. I love driving it. It makes me happy. Those are my two attachments. You know, a few things here and there. Like I have a necklace for my grandmother. So if you're into that sort of thing, there's a bunch of YouTube videos about it. If you guys would like me to go over how I systematically did it and what kind of things I threw away, I will be happy to make a video about that. Okay, so this video is already really long, so I won't go into the niyamas in depth, but I will run through them. So there are also 5 niyamas: purity, contentment, austerity, self-study, and devotion to the Lord. But with spring rolling in, I did want to touch on the contentment part. You know, spring is a time of new beginnings and transformations, and it's a really good time to self-reflect and self-study and meditate. And I know a lot of people have, like, you know, the beginning of the year is in the dead of winter, January. That makes no sense to me. In the Jewish tradition, the first of the year is in the springtime because that's when everything is anew. And I think that that's common in a lot of cultures, that the springtime is like the new beginnings and the new year and that sort of thing. There is a crow out there. So contentment is being happy with your present situation and learning how to be present and to be mindful in your actions today and what you're doing right now, because you can't change the past and you can't change the future. What you can do is right now, and I find that so comforting. I developed the YouTube channel Emily Exploring Earth because I wholeheartedly believe that, you know, we're only on this planet for so long, and there's just so much to experience and so much life to be present in, that every moment is very much something to be grateful for, that you are alive. Also, some of the questions to ask are, what's in my life that I can be grateful for? Is it my family? Is it my friends? Is it my health? Is it my boyfriend or my girlfriend or my dog or my cat, or whatever you have in your life? Let's say that you're monetarily very stable, or, you know, maybe you're in really great health, or you are a happy person. And on the flip side of that, and I loved that they brought this out because I think a lot of people have this misconception about being a yogi is all about, I'm happy all the time, you know, I never get sad, I never get this, I'm happy through adversity. And that's not the case. Being content with your life is also being able to appreciate the sadness in your life. And I've always had this belief that just let me feel sad and I'll move on. And that's kind of like being in the present moment. And that's sort of like what a true meditation is being able to be aware of the thought, but then move that thought aside. And so that's very much, it all kind of ties together, being present and being able to be aware of who you are and the thoughts you have, and being able to move past that. So you can recognize, you know, I'm sad, and I'm sad because, let me feel the sadness, but don't get attached to it. And that's kind of the non-hoarding attachments. Attachments can make you happy, but they can also make you sad. They can make you mad. They can make you feel these emotions. And the more you can just let go of that, more content you'll be. And I think for me, I don't want to be happy all the time. That's not my personality. My family will attest to that. But I want to be content. One of the niyamas is not happiness, it's contentment, being content in your life. But I will say I do struggle with one aspect of this, and that is expectations. But I loved my childhood. Even now, like it was pretty decent, not gonna lie. But my parents did get divorced. I lived in a household that my parents didn't really love each other. And, you know, that definitely rubbed off on me and how I viewed relationships and that sort of thing. And I know some of my other sisters had, you know, wanted a certain type of family dynamic. They wanted that, you know, dad. They wanted that mom. So like one of my sisters will say, and I'm not going to say your name, so if you're watching this, but she really expected our dad to be a certain way and to be a certain kind of dad. And I know that she always says, you know, I just want a dad. And it's like, you do have a dad. And for me, I found peace with the dad that I have, and I think he's a great dad. Yes, he's human, and he's strict, and he's dogmatic sometimes, but there's a reason why he's like that. And if I expect him to be a different way, I'm just going to be disappointed, and that's just hurting me. It's not hurting anybody else, it's just hurting me. And so I learned that a long time ago. Unfortunately, I think for some of my sisters, they haven't learned that yet, and that's fine. If they never learn it, then that's fine. But I'm just saying that, you know, there's a reason why contentment, I think, to me is such a big part, because it's really helped me deal with a lot of things, like my parents, like my sisters, like my relationships with my friends and with my boyfriend. Yeah, so I've found that missing connection when we were discussing this contentment, and I was like, it makes sense now. It really does. I've been filming for like 30 minutes now, so I actually might have 2 videos up for you guys. This one and the rest of the week on another one. But if anything I said resonates with you, then I'm glad. That's what I'm doing this for. Follow me on Instagram. That is where I post daily. And of course, subscribe here if you want. And yeah, I'm just gonna trek along with these episodes for my yoga journey, and it'd be nice to have you guys follow along with me and interact and develop the yoga community here. But anyways, it's been fun. I'm going to drink the rest of my tea now before it gets cold, and study and do some yin yoga, because last night kicked my butt. We did like a power yoga, and I'm not gonna lie, I tapped out for some of it, like 3 times. Just had to take my child's pose, and I was dripping sweat, which is like not normal for me. I'm not a very sweaty person. Yeah, I'm sore. Anyways,